Guru Nation, welcome back to the Clinical Trials Guru. I got asked a really good question, Chris, from Guru
Very
Nation.
good question.
Very good one from Guru Nation. They're all good.
All right.
This one's from a sponsor side, and they're asking, in all seriousness, what can sponsors do, study sponsors do, to make life easier for CRCs and CRAs? And, well, the answer is how much time you got, buddy. But really, the answer is a lot more complicated than that. It involves, I don't know, crazy things like allocation of resources. It involves maybe putting your money where your mouth is.
Sure, but
In my experience, this is what... Okay, so there's different layers. Okay, so let's get the tactical micro layers, like less emails, less dumb requests in the EDC. This is for CRCs right now. And then we could get higher up as far as better allocation of pay. But really, see, if the sponsors pay sites more, the sites are not necessarily going to trickle that down to the CRC. So what do you think about this, Chris? I mean, you're here with all your waters here. What?
So you said a key word there, easier, right? Does pay...
How to make life easier for a
Does
CRC?
pay equate to easier?
You can tolerate it more. You can tolerate it a lot more if you get paid more.
This I agree with.
And it makes your
Absolutely.
life easier, too.
Sure.
Beat
Outside
that. Makes your life easier.
outside of your work, yes, your life has become a little easier. You make more money. Of
That's
course,
right.
Of course. But I think with CRAs, a lot of times it's, in my opinion, right? If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Chris, would you like to be a CRA?" It would be a very large no. No! Right? And aside from where I'm at now, I'd have no interest. But let's say that at a point in my life I were interested in such a thing, I would still say no because of the travel. I have no desire to get on a plane every other day.
Right. And I have opinions about this now as a CRA. Honestly, the CRC one is a little easier to answer because we're not talking about pay for CRCs because sponsors pay investigators, they pay sites.
Right.
So it's up to the sites how they pay their CRCs. It'd be nice if they paid the CRCs more if they got paid more. It's usually not how it works, but some of it will trickle down to them. But for CRAs, here's a wild idea. And I don't know if this is actually good or bad, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the middlemen, like the CROs, they've gotten so big. I've talked to many a PI who have told me the same thing, and many a sponsor who are fed up with some of these big CROs.
Sure.
And they said these middlemen who employ the CRAs are taking most of the money. Like they're putting it into their EDC system. So now they own EDCs, they own IWRSs. Right. So all that fat is being put in the budgets. It's not going to the CRAs. And the CRAs are expected to do more, right? And now they're being graded with a higher standards with metrics.
Right.
So here's a wild idea. What if sponsors started just contracting CRAs?
Right, hiring them directly.
And then have the CRO just do all the other stuff, but we'll contract the CRAs.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the sponsors, when they take a CRO on, have a plan for the CRAs. Like, you must allocate this percentage of the budget towards CRAs. It can't go into your pockets.
Well, we've submitted a few budgets, right, for as a CRO, right?
Right.
So within that budget, we do have a section for CRAs being paid.
Right.
So, and I'm sure most other CROs, right, when they're proposing their costs, I'm sure they have a similar line item, CRAs, right?
But do you really think the CRAs get all of that?
Right? So you put an asterisk next to there as a sponsor stating every dime of this must go to CRAs.
Right. Having some kind of policy for that.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to start something, Chris. Maybe we're going to start something in the industry.
CRAs
will be like their heroes.
Yeah,
we'll be the CRA hero.
CRA overlords.
But honestly, the answer, I mean, it's easy to say, okay, less work, but that's never going to happen. I mean, if anything, they're getting more work. So I really think, I know we started this video off with more pay as kind of a joke, but it's true. I mean, I think the middlemen are taking a lot of this value. And CROs do provide a lot of value, but I think the CRAs are really the ones solving problems. They're the ones actually fixing things.
Sure.
And so they need to be compensated for it. And they don't mind working hard and sacrificing their lives, literally trading away their life for a sponsor.
What? If they didn't feel as though they were doing this, which I agree with you, a lot of CRAs do, if they didn't feel like they were trading away their lives, I think that you would eliminate or at least cut down on the amount of burnout that CRAs incur. Right. So if they can find a solution to that as well, I think that sponsors in turn would have a lot of benefit from this.
Right. And we do find, interestingly enough, we find from CRA's first-hand accounts, the ones that work for sponsors are generally much happier than the ones that work for CROs, right? So we are onto something. We're not just coming up with things out of thin air.
No, because CROs take advantage of them. I mean, they do. They absolutely do.
Days on site. They really push that metric. Sure. Days on site, we need you at 30 days out of the month on site because that's how we get paid.
Right.
So maybe changing that paradigm of how CROs get paid, or I would go as radical as hire the CRAs yourself internally and then have the vendors do different things like EDC vendor, IWRS, all that stuff.
Or maybe work with CROs that are a little smaller in scale that are willing to meet your requirements. You know, if you're trying to work with quintiles and demanding that they pay their CRAs every dime of what's been allocated to CRAs in the budget, they may not do that for you.
Yeah. Now let's go ask the coordinators,
right.
Because it's been years since I've been a coordinator. So let's go ask the coordinators what sponsors can do to make their lives easier. Here's a coordinator here. She's in her office. Rosario.
Yeah.
How's it going? You know, Rosario helps all the students in the CRA Academy. What is your role there? You actually just kind of like troubleshoot, right?
Yeah. Whatever questions they have, I'm glad to answer the questions.
So let's not get sidetracked though. Okay, sorry about that. So the sponsor is asking me, what can they do to make a life of a CRC better?
Oh, I know what can be easier. Sometimes they have an in-house monitor, and then they have a monitor that comes to the site. So each monitor asks for the same paperwork, like say same documents. You give it to the monitor here, or you give them a copy of the document here, but then the in-house monitor is asking for the same document. Isn't there a way that they can communicate and share these documents?
Because
so we don't
you
have
feel
to do double work.
Because you feel like they don't care about your time because they want it done and they're saying, hey, however you can get it, we don't care about coordinator's time.
Right.
Get it. Yeah. So that's the main thing?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now I'm going to go ask Carlos for his expert opinion on this. If I could find him. Carlos! Where are you? Carlos does all the blogs. He does all the quotes, okay? So I got to ask a question from a sponsor.
Okay.
You're a coordinator, okay? What can a sponsor do to make your life easier as a coordinator? Now's your time to vent, to do, this is sponsors are listening.
Well, just write the protocol well enough. We look at the protocols, and then sometimes the protocols don't have enough information for the screening visit. So we're trying to figure out what to do sometimes, or what vendors we should focus on. And sometimes we find out that we needed a vendor and we didn't have access to it, or we have vendors and we don't know which of them we're supposed to use for that visit for specific procedure.
Okay, that's it? Anything else? You can vent more.
No, that's it.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, thank you, Carlos. There you guys have it, okay? So take it for what you, take it as you may, but that's the answers we got, so hopefully it helps.